Hi, YouTube fans. This is Matt of Post April 6th YouTube channel. See? I'm so dedicated I got a coffee mug with my YouTube channel logo on it actually over a year ago by now. Oh boy, my voice is a little bit hoarse because of all the laughing I did while I was watching Silent Movie with created by Mel Brooks, starring Dom DeLuise, Marty Feldman, Liza Manelli, Burt Reynolds, James Caan, and some other people. I watched that movie start to finish, and I just finished watching it on DVD. It's not a movie that I own. I checked it out from the public library because they went through Prospect Interlibrary Loan to get it for me. And I tell you, I did so much laughing. I'm still laughing because the movie was so funny. I mean, really, I was laughing to no end. I mean, it was a combination of slapstick comedy, modern comedy, and you know, this was called cliffhanger. You know, because of some of the things that would happen, where it would really have you, where it would have you really entertained and smiling, but at the same time you feel like you're on the edge of your seat because it's so suspenseful. Yeah. And Mel Brooks played Mel Funn. That's F-U-N-N, not F-U-N. And the movie came out in 1976, and it's really, really quite a delight. I mean, Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein and High Anxiety were good films, and so was Spaceballs. But this one was one of their best. In some ways, it's a little better than Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, High Anxiety, and Spaceballs. And the other actress that was in the movie, aside, we're talking about female actresses, was Anne Bancroft. And let me pause and look up a couple of things so I know, so I can get it refreshed back into my mind after laughing so much. Some of the actors and actresses that was in the movie. I will be right back. The other actresses were, actors and actresses, excuse me, Sid Caesar, Harold Gould, Ron Carey, and Bernadette Peters. Now, Ron Carey, if some of you that doesn't click and you don't know what he did, he was in Barney Miller. He was not a detective, but he was a patrolman for the Pink Precinct of NYPD that did the duties that the patrolman would do. His exact title of what he did as a patrolman, I don't remember exactly what the title was, but he was more than just a reception. He was an in-house coordinator, or whatever the title would be. That would be like an in-house. That would mean he would do in-house coordinations. And the other thing that I really liked about the movie, about scenes, was the the chief of the Big Picture movie studio. You know, he'd always have his eyebrows kind of go like that. I mean, I can't move my eyes up like that, and then they do that cha-ching, cha-ching, and the way his eyes are moving, he's all going, you know, kind of like that. That's the best impersonation I can do. And the one thing that happened towards the end of the movie, when the reel of the actual film, the silent movie, was missing, and it was snatched away by the big movie producer, financial investment company that moved in, that does the financing, that was the financial backers of these films. It was snuck out of the hands, and then all these executives try to get in their limos, and they try to chase Melvin Funn, Dom DeLuise, and Marty Feldman. And then what they do is they park somewhere, and they go over to this one pop machine that is, you know, demonized and possessed, and they put in copper and go, you know, pooh, you know, pooh, you know, pooh, you know, pooh, and they kept hitting them, trying to get them to back off and get in their cars and go away. And well, the rest of the movie, it's very exciting, but I don't want to give too much away. I really don't. I'm gonna really spoil the movie if I do that. And I would like to show more footage of the film, but I'm worried I'm going to get in serious trouble with YouTube. Can't have that going on. So let me look at the storage case and the, you know, with the front logo, and I'll look at the back here and take a look at something here really quick. It was a 20th Century Fox movie, and the version that I saw was a widescreen edition. And as I've said before, this was created in 1976. And here is a quote from Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times movie critic. Filmed with great scenes, these moments are classics. And the movie alternates between the way Los Angeles was back in 1976 and the car he's driving and the way the guys act. It's kind of like a time warp back into the 30s or the 40s. You know, the one thing that I taped in the very beginning was Mel Funn and the character played by Marty Feldman and Dom DeLuise. They let that lady, that pregnant lady, they give her a ride to the hospital. You know, the maternity ward part of the maternity care part of the hospital. And when she gets in there, because she's so heavy, the car just goes from this like. It was quite a scene, quite good acting, and it made the film even more interesting. You know, just from the beginning, and the more you watch the film, the more you like it, the more you're just laughing. And as for me, when this movie came out in 1976, possibly my parents brought me with them to go see it in a nearby movie theater. But if they did, I was only 3 years old, and I tell you, I don't remember it. Because I was only 3 years old back then. And, okay, why don't we get away from or stop talking about the movie and get away from the movie. 1976 was a very significant year in United States history. It was a bicentennial year. It was 200 years after the United States of America was declared the United States of America, and it wasn't just colonies. And it was also the beginning in 1776. It was also the beginning of the first 13 states. I shouldn't just say 3. It's more like 10 plus 3, 13. The other thing that happened was the presidential election was that year. And it was, by election day, it was 2 years after Richard M. Nixon resigned as President of the United States. And then Vice President Gerald R. Ford was sworn in as the 38th President of the United States. And there was quite a quite an interesting and quite a contentious presidential election, because that was the year that then former Governor Ronald Reagan ran in several primaries and tried to take the nomination away from Gerald R. Ford. He came close, but he didn't get quite enough votes in the Republican National Convention, and it went to Gerald R. Ford. Then Gerald R. Ford went from 20 points behind, and he ran against Jimmy Carter, and it got almost neck and neck. And what actually happened was Gerald R. Ford wins 27 states, and with those 27 states, I could be wrong on this, but I'm quite sure that he won 240 electoral votes. And Jimmy Carter, who was a recent former governor of Georgia, wins 297 electoral votes. And it was such a cliffhanger that they were not able to determine that who could be declared the winner until about 2:30 or 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because there was so much votes that really needed to be counted down to the not just like 80% or 70% or 80% or 90%. It had to be at least 95 to 99% in all 50 states. And there was, and some states, I don't know this for sure, but I have a feeling that, just a feeling, nothing more, that at least a couple of states there was double counting. Yeah. Or double counting in certain counties or congressional districts. Because things were that close. And that and a lot of neat music came out. If it wasn't 1976, it was 1974, and the Steve Miller Band came out with Fly Like an Eagle, which is a very, very good song. And the Led Zeppelin came out with Presents, the album. That was their second to last album. The very last album was, I believe it was August of 1979, called In Through the Outdoor. And quite unfortunately, in September of 1980, one of the best, if not the best drummer rock and roll ever had, John Bonham, died. He choked to death on his vomit from drinking way too much hard liquor. Way too much. Yeah, because he seriously had a drinking problem, and he really went over the edge. One night, he really went off the deep end, and he died. And the other thing that was going on in 1976, it's not entertainment or politics. Let's talk about cars. I believe one of many, we're talking about over 36 types of automobiles. I believe one of the two cars that were selling were Capris and the Pintos. Yeah. And I also assume, this might be inaccurate, but I'm pretty sure there's a good possibility I'm right, Honda Civics were starting to really make a name for themselves. More and more people were buying them. And I think the other vehicle that was doing well was, as far as a compact car, it wasn't a automobile car, it was a truck automobile. Ford Courier. Yep. Well, I sure have done quite a lot of talking, and I just looked at the clock. It's quite late. It's time for me to get ready for bed. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this vlog. And good night and goodbye. Thank you. Oh, I forgot one thing. I'm going to show you this really quick. Here is the casing that came with this very smartphone I'm using that I bought back in August of 2022. I decided to do the IMEI switch and switch back to this one because the phone that I was using for a while there, the Nokia G310 really stinks. But this phone does what I want it to do. And here's what it looks like. So I'm going to use this phone again and keep that one going for at least another few months until I can find something better. So, thank you everybody. I hope this was interesting to everyone. Good night, good day, and goodbye. Thank you.